need to adjust my beam here. Alright, let's see here. Just camera a little bit. There we go. Now we need to adjust the lights. Trying to account for things here. Look good. Maybe if I turn on. Right there we go. A little more balanced, I think. All right, let's put this over here. Be able to see my output. There we go. Here's my cans. Put my headphones on here. Alright. Headphones on. Grab a stick, juicy fruit. Taste is gonna move, yeah. Alright, I think we're good. Feel good, feel good. Got ourselves centered. Been getting back in Animal Crossing. Alright, well, I think we're ready to go. Let's take off the bug. Alright. Me may mamo moo, me may mamo moo. Red leather, red leather, yellow 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 leather. Pop it back, pick, 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 pick. Boo, 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 pop, pop. I guess I'm ready as ever will be. And well, let's hit it. Tonight, we remember Kaiopaka, UPS gets sand crawlers, and Tom Hanks turns down a trip to space. All that and more on the sci-fi edition of Multiverse Tonight. Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 149 of Multiverse Tonight, the podcast about all your geeky multiverses. I'm, of course, your host, Thomas Townley, and, it's, I've had a little bit of an unusual weekend. I got to have the house to myself. My wife went away for the weekend to visit her dad, so it was basically just me. So I sat down and, watched some movies. I watched Dune, the new Dune, 2021. It was okay. There were some moments where I got bored, but I watched it on HBO Max, and the nice thing about HBO Max is when it gets to a lot of just shots of sand and all that, you can fast forward a few seconds until someone starts talking again. I thought it was fine. I think I still like the original Dune more. I like the voiceovers. What can I say? This Dune, they didn't want you to give you that pre-knowledge. Like, this is what this is. This is how this happens. This is what this happens. I mean, they didn't even cover the Space Guild, the navigators, and how the navigators are all weird creatures and tanks. They didn't even cover that. It was just they come out a hole here and they come out a hole here. Boop, done. So all in all, I thought it was very good. Also sat down and went to the movie theater, saw the Eternals, and I'll have thoughts on that on the comic book edition. Also sat down, watched Deadpool 2, and I think another movie. I can't remember what it is right now. But basically, I had a good weekend. Tried to relax, reset. We're getting in the fall, so it's getting cooler. Just went through the daylight savings time, which, by the way, do me all a favor. If you're in the United States, bug your congressmen, bug your senators, bug your state legislatures, and get them to get rid of daylight savings time. I don't care whether they fix it so daylight savings time is permanently on or it's permanently off. I don't care. Just let's get rid of it. It's unnecessary. It's just get away. Let's be done with it once and for all. Anyway, let's go on to the Star Trek news. And we begin the Star Trek news today with some sad news. Actress Camille Saviola has passed away. Now, the actress is best known to Star Trek fans as Bajoran leader Kai Opaka on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Saviola was born in the Bronx neighborhood of New York. She has also had parts on shows like Younger, Entourage, Judging Amy, Becker, Jag, Friends, L.A. Law, and in movies like The Purple Rose of Cairo, Penn and Teller Get Killed, Addams Family Values, and many more. She was also the lead singer of the 70s rock band the Margot Lewis Explosion. Camille Saviola passed away from heart failure after a brief illness. She was 71 years old. Also, William Lucking has passed away as well. Now, you probably don't know him. He was a guest star on Deep Space Nine, appearing in a three-episode arc as Furel, a member of the Shakar Resistance Cell. Born in June 17th of 1941 in Michigan, Lucking graduated from UCLA with a degree in literature before moving his talents to the stage and then screen. His career in television began in the 1960s, when he made guest appearances on TV shows including Ironside, Mission Impossible, Lancer, The Virginian, The Partridge Family, and Bonanza. This tough guy image on screen would also land him roles in movies, including The Magnificent Seven, the Magnificent Seven Ride, which was the final entry in that series, and later movies like Erin Brockovich, Red Dragon, The Rundown, and Contraband. Lucking primarily worked in television, though, however, with a staggering 150-plus credits. His other appearances including The Original Kung Fu, The Incredible Hulk, Dallas, MASH, The A-Team, T.J. Hooker, Magnum P.I., The X-Files, and multiple episodes of Murder, She Wrote. Current TV watchers might recognize him best for the role of Lucking in the might recognize him for his role as Piney in Sons of Anarchy, playing one of the elder statesmen of the Outlaw Motorcycle Club, and the father of Ryan Hurst character Opie. Now, Lucking is survived by his wife Sigrid and 2 daughters with families, Margette Lucking and Juliana Ryan. William Lucking was 80 years old. Following the premiere of Star Trek Prodigy, Star Trek's newest animated series, comes word from Paramount's new CEO that a Star Trek animated movie is on the table. This, among other things, was revealed in a Hollywood Reporter interview with CEO Brian Robbins and Star Trek head Alex Kurtzman. Now, they discussed how Star Trek is the gateway show for younger viewers. Now, Star Trek Prodigy is the gateway show for younger viewers to get into Star Trek, and that if Prodigy is a success, a family-friendly animated movie could be in the works. Now, when asked if such a film would be a theatrical release or a Paramount Plus release, Robbins said, quote, "To be honest, we've talked about it as a theatrical movie. I can't lie. When I say they're at Comic-Con, I wished it was." Now, he also dropped a nugget of info on the next J.J. Abrams Trek movie, basically saying that they need to get going, unquote. Now, he went on saying, quote, "Where we go with the franchise next theatrically is crucial to the health of the overall franchise. There's no doubt that this big theatrical movies are the beacon that ignite franchises. We're in it, and I don't really have anything to say because I'm waiting for the development to be delivered. I can't wait to get going on it. We're not there yet, but we need to get there soon," unquote. So in other words, don't hold your breath. I really don't think that the movies cause the television. The television causes the movies, okay? They need to get that juxtaposition straight. And if you're going to make television movies that relate to the television shows, they need to, relate together. They need to, you can't have one in a separate timeline / universe and then everything else in another one. It just doesn't, it confuses the normies, the regular people at home, because they're expecting to see Chris Pine as Captain Kirk, and you're giving him someone completely else. Got me? Anyway, speaking of Prodigy, Chakotay will be in the show, but in what role, show creators Dan and Kevin Hageman aren't telling. They talked to comicbook.com and said, quote, "All we can tell you is that obviously Chakotay plays a big part in Hologram Janeway's memory bank, so to speak. And so there is a relationship there that I think all fans want to see more of. They want to see how it evolves, so I think that's something that is interesting," unquote. And by the way, today, the 8th, Paramount Plus just announced that Star Trek Prodigy will be renewed for a second season. Now, Paramount Plus is now the home to the entire Star Trek catalog. All 13 movies are now available on the service. And on that note, the episode titles for Star Trek Discovery's first 4 episodes are up. The season premiere starts on November 18th with episode 401, Kobayashi Maru. Episode next week, the 25th, which is right around Thanksgiving, comes Anomaly. Episode 403, Choose to Live, comes December 2nd. And episode 404, All Is Possible, comes December 9th. I'm sure someone is happy for that. I'm just still on the fence about the whole show. Anyway, let's go on to the Star Wars news.
Roger, Roger.
We start Star Wars news with some holiday news. Some UPS trucks in select cities are getting Star Wars themed wraps that will make the vehicles look like sandcrawlers with the Mandalorian and Grogu and the hashtag Bring Home the Bounty on the back. Now it also has R2-D2, C-3PO, and a Jawa on it. The shipping company will also have Mandalorian and Star Wars themed boxes as well. Kind of interesting. Be sure to get your shipping done early this year. It's kind of the overall message of the Christmas season this year. Buy early, ship early. get done because we don't know if when things are going to run out. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker had a part for Doctor Who star Matt Smith, but apparently it never got beyond the meeting phase. Smith, speaking with the Happy Sad Confused podcast host John Horowitz, confirmed the fact that when asked if he had ever got to film anything, Smith said, quote, "No, I didn't. We were close to me being in it, but then it just never quite happened. I think the thing they were thinking of me for, eventually, the part became obsolete, and they didn't need it, so I never got to be in Star Wars. There we are," unquote. As to what role that could have been is still unknown. Not even Smith will say what it was, but it was rumored to be Rey's father, aka the runaway clone of Palpatine. The Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser at Walt Disney World Resort is now open for general bookings. Apparently, most of what's available right now is 2-day trips in April and months later. Now, you can't book on the internet. Instead, you need to call a booking line of 407-939-5271. That's 407-939-5271. You think Disney could spring for a toll-free number? I guess if you can afford to spend $749 to $12,209 a night for the experience, I guess you can afford the long distance, but it would just be a nice touch, to have a nice 1-800 number. 1-800, blow all your money. Anyway, let's go on to the geek news. Last Sci-Fi Edition, we covered William Shatner in space. Well, apparently he wasn't Jeff Bezos' first choice. Tom Hanks, talking to Jimmy Kimmel, said that he had been offered to go, but thought that the price tag was too high. He told Kimmel, quote, "Well, yeah, provided I pay. And it costs like $28 million or something like that. I'm doing good, Jimmy. I'm doing good, but I ain't paying $28 million. You know what? We could simulate the experience of going to space right now. It's about a 12-minute flight. Think about it," unquote. Now, I wonder if he charged Shatner, or Shatner just paid with his ego. Snowpiercer's third season will be starting on TNT on Monday, January the 24th. The third season will pick up where Season 2 ended, with Leighton commanding a pirate train in search of Melanie and a potential new place to call home. The Siren Awards from the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films were given out. Now, the big winner from film was Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker with 5 awards, including Best Sci-Fi Film, Best Film Director J.J. Abrams, John Williams for Best Film Music, Best Film Makeup, Best Film Visual Effects, and Star Trek Discovery won 2 for Best Sci-Fi TV Show, and Doug Jones for Best Supporting Actor in Television, the most for any TV shows. Now let's take a deeper look at some other winners. Joker won Best Comic to Motion Picture. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won Best Fantasy Film, Best Production Design, and Best Film Writing for Quentin Tarantino. The Invisible Man won for Best Horror. Mulan received Best Action Figure and Best Film Costume Design. Knives Out got Best Thriller, Best Film Ending, and Best Supporting Actor for Ana de Armas. Onward won for Best Animated Film. Parasite won Best International Film. Best Actor went to John David Washington for Tenet, and Best Actress for Elizabeth Moss in The Invisible Man. Best Supporting Actor went to Bill Hader for It Chapter 2. Best Performance by a Younger Actor went to Kylie Curran for Dr. Sleep. On the TV side, Best Superhero Adaptation went to The Boys. Best Fantasy Series went to For All Mankind. Best Horror, The Walking Dead Action Adventure went to Better Call Saul, and Best Animated went to Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Best TV Presentation under 10 episodes went to The Mandalorian, and Enola Holmes got Best Film Presentation in Streaming Media. The Best Actor Award went to Patrick Stewart for Picard, and Best Actress went to Catriona Balfe on Outlander. Best Supporting Actress went to Danielle Panabaker for The Flash. Best Performance by a Younger Actor went to Breck Bessinger for Stargirl. And Best Supporting Performance went to John Cryer for Supergirl. There were also awards for video release. Home Entertainment Awards went to Knives Out for Best 4K, Dr. Cyclops Special Edition for Best DVD Blu-ray, Godzilla the Showa Era Films, 1954 to 1975, got Best DVD Blu-ray Collection, and Creepshow won Best DVD Blu-ray TV Movie or Series Release, and Witch got Best Live Stage Production. Bradley Cooper has announced that he's launching his own production label, and he will be producing Dan Simon's Hyperion Cantos books into motion pictures at Warner Brothers, with Graham King attached to produce. Hyperion had previously been slated to be a sci-fi miniseries. AMC Theaters plans to get into the growing multi-billion-dollar popcorn market. AMC will sell its AMC Theaters Perfectly Popcorn, the same popcorn that's sold in its theaters for more than a century since 1920, through 4 new platforms. Starting in 2022, AMC will be selling AMC Theaters Perfectly Popcorn at select mall locations around the United States. These new kiosks, counters, and stores will sell authentic AMC movie theater popcorn and other AMC movie theater snack items. Now, this news comes following AMC's previous announcement that would begin accepting Bitcoin payments for its theaters for tickets and movie and food items. Additionally, AMC also plans to make its AMC Theaters Perfectly Popcorn available through food delivery to home services, and AMC will also sell to-go packages at theaters of freshly popped popcorn for takeout or pickup. Later in 2022, AMC plans to offer packaged and microwavable AMC Theater Perfectly Popcorn in supermarkets and convenience stores. AMC plans to launch up to 5 AMC Theaters Perfectly Popcorn stores, counters, and kiosks in shopping malls around the country in the first half of 2022. These initial locations are likely to be in malls without an AMC Theater location. AMC plans to have up to 15 retail stores open by the end of 2022, with more opening in 2023 and thereafter. The menu will consist of traditional and gourmet flavored popcorn, candy, and our movie theater treats, Coca-Cola freestyle options, and bottled water. All AMC Theaters Perfectly Popcorn locations will feature freshly made popcorn on site, providing the theater popcorn without the theater. Also in 2022, and they'll have all the other stuff later in the year. And that brings us to the end of the sci-fi news for today. Now, be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Twitter, at Multiverse Tom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. And if you'd like to contribute to the store, check out the show notes and so much more. Visit our TeePublic store and much more over at the brand new MultiverseTonight.com. If you're a subscriber, please be sure to share this with your friends. And if you're brand new to the show, please be sure to subscribe and leave us with some feedback. Let us know how we're doing. Special thanks to Shane Ivers for the intro music and Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Thanks for watching the sci-fi edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in 2 days with a brand new comic book edition and 2 weeks with a brand new sci-fi edition. Please exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half-Baked Genre Productions. Copyright 2021. All rights reserved. It's getting to be the time of year where news isn't fast and free flowing. So sometimes you just have to fill some space with whatever news you can find. Popcorn news is, perfectly fine. I'm gonna do something real quick here. Add something in the show notes. So, a lot of memories today. It's been exactly a year since Joe Biden officially beat Donald Trump. Excuse me. All right. I got my buttons set up here. All right. 1, 2. This is how we do. Get down here. Tonight, why DC projects get axed, my thoughts on Eternals, and Chris Pratt now hates Mondays. All that and more on the comic book edition of Multiverse Tonight. Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 150 of Multiverse Tonight. 150, we're at another milestone episode, right? Another big episode. Not much to say here. I've been around for 150. I guess, try to be around for 150 more. I am not quite sure whether I want to collapse this down into one episode, the one episode format, or just keep it split up like this. I'm still trying to make a decision. I can't, I just can't bring myself to it. If you're like me, of course, you have, issues with your mental health. Mine pretty much revolve around it, the time of the year. I get seasonal depression, and fall's happening. It gets darker sooner now. We've gone through the end of daylight savings time, so it's going to get darker sooner as well. So I'd just like to take a minute here to remind you to take care of your mental health. And I'd also like to send a special shout out to the guys and gal over at the Geek Shock podcast. A couple episodes ago, they gave me a shout out on their podcast because I donated to their coffee donation. The same service that I use. And they're one of my favorite podcasts. I listen to them every week. They're funny. And they cover some geek news as well as playing a little game, talking, cracking wise, if you will. So I'd like to give them a very special shout out. They're over at geekshockpodcast.com, and I'll have a link to that in the show notes. Let's go on to the geek news. And we start the geek news today with DC Comics. So apparently the reason we don't have a new Gods movie from Ava DuVernay was Zack Snyder's Justice League. Maybe. In a new interview on SiriusXM, director DuVernay speculated, quote, "I love New Gods, which is the project that got axed. The studio decided that they did not want to pursue a certain part of that comic world based on some things that were going on with another film in that world. So before I even was able to complete my script with Tom King, they axed it. But I already had two projects going," unquote. So, let's break that down. Let's get this straight. Because New Gods and Zack's Justice League weren't in the same canon, they axed the New Gods. Boo. Yeah, I really, actually, I think the way to do a New Gods movie would be to start with, you introduce Mr. Miracle first. And, you have that be the focal point, and then you introduce the world of the fourth world and the New Gods and all that. But that's just how I do it. Speaking of Ava DuVernay, Naomi, the DC series she developed for the CW, now has a premiere date. The series, along with the second season of Superman and Lois, will debut on January 11th, the night that also sees the return of Legends of Tomorrow and Batwoman. Why the Last Man has been canceled by FX on Hulu. Now, sources tell the Hollywood Reporter that execs over at FX had to make a decision on the future of the series by October 15th, which was the date that options on the cast of the show would expire. Now, it's not known at this time if another home can be found for the show, like, say, HBO Max. Should a suitor for the series emerge, FX Productions would face the decision of selling library rights to Season 1, as well as transferring ownership of the series or becoming a third-party content supplier. Something that under Disney is considered a long shot given Disney's push for more vertical integration. So a revival seems to have little hope. Sorry. Jenna Dewan will reprise her Supergirl role of Lucy Lane for the second season of Superman and Lois. Supergirl, which is ending its 6-year run, will end this month. Michael B. Jordan's Val Zod's Superman HBO Max project now has writers. Darnell Metier and Josh Peters will be writing Val Zod, which is being produced for DC Entertainment and Warner Brothers Television by Michael B. Jordan's Outlier Society. Metier and Peters have recently worked as writers on the upcoming film Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, are known best for projects such as American Snow and The NOLA. Aquaman director James Wan has confirmed that the now canceled Trench spin-off was a secret Black Manta movie. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II's antagonist played a smaller role in 2018's Aquaman film and will return in the 2022 sequel Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Responding to a question on Instagram, Wan wrote, "I'll let you in on a secret. The canceled Trench spin-off movie was really going to be a secret Black Manta movie," unquote. Now, the show was canceled alongside the New Gods movie this past April. Eternals opening weekend started it out great, of course, at the top of this past weekend's box office. However, it was a poor showing compared to previous movies in the current phase. Eternals brought in $71 million, that's less than Black Widow's $80.3 million, and Shang-Chi's $75.5 million. The film is also not doing well critically, getting Marvel Studios' lowest ever cinema score and Rotten Tomatoes score. Eternals beat out Dune, which is in its third week. Eternals has also been banned in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Qatar after Disney refused to edit romantic scenes between Ben and Fastos. The Gulf region is still an area where homosexuality is deemed illegal, so it's not a major leap in logic to surmise that movie authorities of that culture wanted the LGBTQ plus inclusion in Eternals to be censored, while Disney knew what kind of major PR controversy could ensue if the edits were made. Marvel is getting back in the short film game. The studio, according to co-president and executive producer Louis Esposito, will bring back the Marvel one-shot mini-movies that were added to the video releases of many of the early Marvel releases. The last one was 2014's All Hail the King, which took place post Iron Man 3. Esposito says in the new book, The Story of Marvel Studios, The Making of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, quote, "We're working on them. It's just finding the time. I have a couple earmarked that I want to do," unquote. Disney Plus has added another movie from the Fox Studios, part of the Marvel Universe. X-Men First Class is now out on the service. The prequel was the only X-Men film not in the service. Unquote. Try that again. Disney Plus has added another movie from the Fox Studios part of the Marvel Universe. X-Men First Class is now in the service. The prequel was the only X-Men film not on Disney Plus. If Marvel's Hawkeye trailers have been giving you buddy cop Die Hard vibes, it's on purpose. The show, which takes place at Christmas time in New York, a few months after the blip was reversed in Endgame, will tell the story of the retired Avenger teaming up with Kate Bishop. Birdie, half of the directing team of Bert and Birdie, told Games Radar Plus, quote, Endgame and Hawkeye exec producer Trin Tran got her own strong opinions on things, but instinctively she knows what feels right for the Marvel Universe as well. As we've all been seeing with TV, it's a bit about breaking the mold at this point. So Trin was never about sticking to the old plan or sticking religiously to a character's backstory. Hawkeye, for instance, is a little bit unlike we've seen before, but Jeremy was fully invested in this tone, so she's always been about the freshness of it, unquote. Hawkeye hits Disney Plus on November 24th. Skydance New Partners is teaming with Marvel for a new narrative video game. This will be the first project from the AAA studio formed by Uncharted co-creator Amy Hennig and her producing partner, Electric Arts veteran Julian Beek, in 2019. The studio was launched with a focus on creating titles for traditional gaming platforms as well as emerging streaming platforms, with games designed to appeal to both seasoned and less experienced players. Now, no word on what the game will be or what it will involve. James Gunn has officially announced the start of production on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He tweeted, quote, It's been a strange and long and at times challenging journey to get here, but the obstacles along the way have only made this moment more blissful. Back on the set with my Guardians family for the first day of shooting, #GOTG Volume 3. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be in theaters on May 5th, 2023. Let's go to the geek news. South Park's Trey Parker and Matt Stone spoke about their new Viacom CBS deal with The Hollywood Reporter. The pair signed a deal for $900 million this past summer. The deal will see 14 made-for-TV movies, the first of which, star South Park Post-COVID, will air on Paramount Plus on Thanksgiving Day. Trey said about the movie, quote, It's the boys dealing with a post-COVID world. They're just trying to get back to normal. So it is like our show. We're just trying to get back to normal, unquote. Now, the second movie will be out in December. Parker said about the upcoming projects, quote, With Viacom, we realized we could make them as long or as short as we needed, and they then went and called them movies. There are the ones who said we are giving them 14 movies in 7 years. All I can say is, for me, personally, I am 52 years old. I have made 3 movies in my life, so you do the math. Matt Stone added, We're trying to make what's on Paramount Plus different from anywhere else, so hour-long made-for-TV movies is where our head is at. We'll do 2 made-for-TV movies every year. They'll be big, but they are not quite movie scale. As for how the show's stories will run in the future, Stone said, quote, We're at where a lot of people are at, which is the future kind of sucks. We would like to get back to where each week we can do something totally different. We tried to experiment with serialization that had mixed results. And the past 5 or 6 years have been dominated by Trump being political and the tonal change of society. And then the pandemic. We don't want everything to be about the pandemic, but that is what is going on, unquote. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo have signed on to star in the film adaptation of Wicked for Universal. Erivo will be playing Elphaba. I hate that name. While Grande will portray Glinda. The musical is a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. To celebrate Disney Plus's second anniversary, the streaming service is having a sale from November 8th to November 14th. New and eligible returning subscribers in the US and select countries can get 1 month of Disney Plus for $1.99 if they sign up with the Disney Plus Day Hub. Now, the special limited time offer is for the first month only, after which the cost will go back up to $7.99 a month. Disney also announced Monday that the company will team up with Target stores to host in-store activations on November 12th through November 14th in almost 800 Target stores across the United States. Target shoppers will have the ability to sign up for the $1.99 Disney Plus Day offer and receive special giveaways. As of July 3rd, Disney Plus had 116 million subscribers worldwide. TV writer and producer Prentice Penny is partnering with Stranger Comics founder Sebastian A. Jones. Penny is launching a yet-to-be-named joint venture to identify and support new talent in the independent comic book world, functioning as an incubator and development lab for BIPOC creators and their IP, and find inroads to publications and adaptation to other mediums. Jones and Penny have already identified 2 projects, David Croson's Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer and Jason Wise from creator Urias, both of which are already being developed for TV. Penny said, quote, "When Sebastian told me that there's so many independent comic creators of color that largely get ignored in the movie and television space, I knew that I wanted to help foster and produce content with these amazing creators. So I'm so excited with all the possibilities the joint venture can do. Having someone like Sebastian as a partner who has had amazing success in the independent comic space, and someone like myself who knows TV and film, it felt like such an easy and natural fit. I can't wait to dive in and find the next generation of BIPOC comic creators and get their work up on the screen." Penny is no stranger to comics. The longtime TV writer, producer, and director who launched variety show Pause with Sam Jay in May and served as showrunner on outgoing HBO comedy Insecure alongside Issa Rae for 5 seasons, teamed with Jones to co-author a comic title Niobe and Dura, Wrath of the Ancient #1, after a $127,000 raise on Kickstarter. AEW wrestler Jon Moxley has compared pro wrestling to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Speaking with the Throwing Down with Renee and Misha, the former champion told Renee Paquette, who, by the way, is his wife, and Misha Tate, quote, "In the 60s and 70s, they were actually trying to fool people into thinking this was real, and bad guys and good guys couldn't ride in the same car or be seen at the same bar together. The business was very protected. And you were actually trying to fool people into thinking these are actual fights. That is not the case in 2021. There's real fighting, which is what you do, and there's this. And fans are very passionate about it. But nobody is being fooled into thinking they're watching a legitimate thing. That's a completely separate sport now. It's like the Marvel Universe. In real life, no one can shoot bleep spiderwebs out of their fingers or whatever. But in the Marvel Universe, there's a guy who can. That's accepted. So when he shoots somebody in the face with a spiderweb, Spider-Man, you totally accept it." Unquote. Now, Moxley has recently had to step back from wrestling and go into rehab for alcohol addiction. I think we all wish him the best of health and recovery. Well, you can't escape Chris Pratt. The man is everywhere. Now he will be taking over the voice of everyone's favorite lasagna-loving orange tabby, Garfield. Andrew Kozov and Broderick Johnson's Alcon Entertainment is behind the new Garfield, which has been picked up for worldwide excluding China release by Sony Pictures. The script, written by Oscar nominee David Reynolds of Finding Nemo fame, is being directed by Mark Nindell from Chicken Little, with the duo having previously worked together on Disney's The Emperor's New Groove. Now, Garfield has been in newspaper comics since his creation in 1978. He's been previously voiced by Lorenzo Music in the animated TV show and Bill Murray in 2 early 2000s movies. Well, 3 new inductees to the National Toy Hall of Fame were announced: American Girl dolls, Risk, and Sand. Yep, just plain old everyday sand. Not any kind of special sand, just the stuff that beaches and deserts are made of. Next year, I guess they'll induct Lint, I guess. The list of other finalists that were voted on this year but were not inducted into the Hall of Fame include Battleship, Billiards, Cabbage Patch Kids, Fisher Price Corn Popper, Mahjong, Masters of the Universe, The Pinata, and The Settlers of Catan, and The Toy Fire Engine. Sand, folks. Sand. And that brings us to the end of the comic book news. Now, be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Twitter at Multiverse Tom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. And if you'd like to contribute some money, check out the show notes, visit the TeePublic store, and so much more. Head on over to the brand new MultiverseTonight.com. If you're a subscriber, please be sure to share us with your friends. And if you're brand new to the show, please be sure to subscribe and let's have some feedback. Let me know how we're doing. Special thanks to Shane Ivers for the intro music and Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Thanks for watching the comic book edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a new sci-fi and comic book edition. Now please exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half Baked Genre Productions. Copyright 2021. All rights reserved. Alright, folks. Let me view this. Hello, everyone. I thought I'd sit here on this pre-record my thoughts here on Marvel's Eternals. I took a little day off, well, a few hours off from work. Went to the East Side Warren Theater over in Wichita, Kansas, to the Warren 21, which is their adults-only section of that theater. But wait, if you're in Wichita, it's a great place. That's a great place to go. You have to be an adult to be in that section of the theater. It has like full, has real food concessions. If you want real food, it has beer, wine, spirits. Recliner seats that you can relax in. It's an awesome little theater to go. Basically, think of Alamo Drafthouse, but done slightly differently. Anyway, the movie starts up with an opening crawl. 7,000 years ago, the Eternals came to Earth, and their mission is this, and this is the Deviants are who they're fighting for, and the Celestials are who they work for, and then opens up with the ship with you see humans toiling away, and one of them gets jumped by a deviant, and then the Eternals show up to save the day. Basically they're Marvel's first superheroes, and so we get introductions to the characters. We see them work over millennia to keep humanity safe from deviants until the conquistadors, conquistador era of in Mexico, and the conquistadors are, of course, slaughtering the natives, and the Eternals have a debate about whether, now that all the deviants seem to be gone, and we're just waiting here, why don't we save humanity from itself? And this causes a rift. Some of them leave one way, some of them leave another way. One of them is malfunctioning, so one of them leaves with that one to keep them safe, so they won't harm themselves or others. And then we get to the modern day, and Cersei, who, if you're looking for the main character in the story, Cersei's the main character. Cersei is in London, and with her new boy toy, who knows that she's an eternal because there's another eternal with them who basically just blabs, and they get attacked by a deviant that seems to have the powers of another one of the Eternals, which sets off basically the whole story. Basically, it's a fine story. It's a fine story. Needed more Selma Hayek in it. You're not going to get a lot of Selma Hayek in it. Not that that's really spoilery, but take as you will. So, whatever you think is going to happen is going to happen. This is a very almost, I've seen this story before. I know this story. But you get to the end of the movie, and conflict resolved, and then hijinks happen, and we set up for a further movie. Several things. One, they never address the deviant that has the Eternal's power. They never address it. It's just a mystery, if you will. Two, needs more Salma Hayek. 3, the cutscenes are almost better than the movie itself. That's slightly sad. There were points in there where I was definitely getting just bored. This movie needed editing in a massive scale. There were a lot of them, getting together and fretting. Oh, what should we do? What should we do? What should we do? What should we do? And debating what they should do. And it's like, just do something. If you know what you have to do, do something instead of fretting about it. So I give this movie maybe a solid 6. It's good to watch. It's like a C grade movie, but maybe wait for this one to come to Disney Plus. Which seems to be kind of a consensus as far as I've seen other reviews. So, Warren East Theater, I give those guys a good B. Eternals, I give a solid C. So that's all for this review, and I'll throw it back to myself.